Hello, everybody out there in YouTube and D&D land. Before we jump into the action, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. All of those things help us out tremendously. If you're interested in supporting us a little bit further, consider becoming a member here on our YouTube channel. Memberships start at just $2 a month, and you gain access to some really cool emotes. If you're interested in supporting our community beyond that, you are welcome to join our Patreon, which is listed down in the description below. Reach out to me if you're interested in joining any of our campaigns. You can do that through our Patreon or just DM me right here or DM me on Discord. We do have open slots available in games such as this one. If you want to explore Marquette, this is a perfect place to get your foot wet. I think that'll be everything. Let's get into the action.
Says the man when we're in the desert.
Y'all like how I rhymed?
I was
right
going to
there?
say,
Just
nice
little bit.
alliteration.
Yeah. Thanks, I try. Argan, go ahead.
So last week we continued our journey on the airship to the rift. As we started getting closer, Braska and Sinclair decided to go up to the crow's nest so they could look out for it. But Sinclair got himself tangled up in Braska, which got themselves both tangled up to the far enough along that Sinclair had to be cut out by Fordrum. But we do eventually make our way. We start trying to figure out, as Kinsey starts to look at it, we start trying to figure out maybe what we can do. We think about trying to compress it with graviturgy, but we decide that if everything goes into one spot, it'll create a giant explosion 5 miles wide. It's suggested that maybe we try and trigger it off when we're farther away and safe, but I'm pretty sure it'll cause a scar, so I refuse to do that. As we sit there talking about it, Sinclair spots someone looking through the rift, and a giant flies out on a purple cloud wearing a mask and calling himself the Smiling One. We have some conversation with him as he talks about wanting to flood an ocean just to see what it's like. And eventually we try to tell him to go away and to go home because we don't want him to cause any floods. And he calls in his boss, Locust, to come out. And he comes out. He's generally some sort of giant creature made entirely of wind.
Correction, gargantuan.
Gargantuan,
Yes,
sorry. Gargantuan creature made of wind.
Let's get the right
yes,
scope.
He was massive. Eventually, as the conversation goes and they're trying to figure out why we wouldn't want him to flood the oceans, Sinclair says something about the fact that we don't want the death and chaos. And at the word chaos, the Smiling One's eyes just light up with excitement. So Argan starts the fight. He puts a little fly on Braska and Sinclair, tells Braska to go off and hit something, his favorite thing. And we get into a big fight. We get into a big fight with them. It's a fairly rough time. Braska gets hit pretty good, and then eventually Sinclair manages to smite the Smiling One, which annoys him enough that he just decides to give up and leave. So he flies off, leaving Locust to himself. Braska and Sinclair beat down Locust, and it compresses into a ball much smaller than it was before, but still quite big. And it plummets into the ground, crashing through a mountain.
And a deer.
And a deer, yes. There was a deer. We mop up the last of the little elementals that Locust had created. And then we eventually decide on trying to zip the thing shut using a different graviturgy spell. We sacrifice basically every spell slot we have to power some null stones, set them up, and I set off the graviturgy and I zip it so it's almost completely shut. It's only about 1.5 inches wide. And Kinsey considers that good enough for now until he can bring in some more people. And he pays us and lets us borrow his airship to fly on to the next town.
So, is there anything you all wish to do on your journey over to Ankarel?
I asked the captain, since we're having to offload all the supplies down for the expedition down where the owner of the boat is. If we just don't, if we could just stay the night and then make for it in the morning. Just in case something else comes through the rift is my biggest concern.
The captain scratches the back of his neck, a dwarven folk.
Because your boss is tapped out.
We can't touch down. I feel like we've talked about this before.
No.
Without a proper dock.
I'm just saying, stay floating right here, near the rift, so we can keep an eye out for your boss for tonight. Since he's spent, Argan's spent, you have me and Brusca, which are still beefy boys. If something comes through, we can dispatch it quickly, and then tomorrow morning we head out.
I mean, hey boss, is that okay with you? I gave you a schedule. Please keep to it.
So, we can just sleep on the ship.
Right, yeah. So long as you guys don't go fishing again, should be... That was the first time I've ever been attacked in the air, when you all went fishing.
All right. Well, before we head out, let me just real quickly, and I just start affixing ropes on the side of the ship.
Oh, there's tons of them all over draping. Yeah, they have extra ropes.
I basically tie a rope from here all the way underneath to here, and then one just slightly further all the way underneath to here, and then I make a harness for Argan and go, there. If we're not able to stop, at least you can be tied to the ship while you study it.
That works.
What are you studying?
I'm gonna study the stones.
Hey, Fortune, can you make sure my knots are right?
Sure.
Oh, good. I'm glad you said it. I was gonna do that. I would have felt bad after you put all that effort in to just go right to Forger and say, Forger, can you double check that?
I think if we just get a rubbing so that we know what kind of symbols to put on them, I think we could get the stones from Islecross. Then we can make our own boat. I think I'd want it to look prettier.
Well, I'm not so much interested in a boat.
Oh.
It's the school he's interested in.
Well, we can try and build a boat too, if that's what you want.
I mean,
I just need to learn how to build a broomstone.
Yeah.
all right.
We got the ropes fixed. Here's the harness. You can throw it on and shimmy down while we fly.
Works for me.
So, Argan, I'm going to require an athletics check from you. No, the rope does not give him assistance before anybody asks. It gives him
I
opportunity.
actually trained in athletics. That's weird.
That's very weird.
I think it was a race thing.
18's not so bad. Not so bad.
I'm still seeing the other map, by the way. I think you shared it just with me, which is fine. But
Oh yeah. Let me...
The ship should be fully healed too.
oh no, what should it?
It's getting there. Their crew is fixing it. It's not something that I have mending, and it just fixes.
Oh yeah. No one
But I
here's an
do. I'll
artificer.
fix the ship.
That's literally what I just said. Like, it's not something that I have mending solves.
Yeah.
They have to fix the ship. Like, it's a
No,
lot.
but I mean, between mending and my woodworking skills, I've got wood carvers kits and all that stuff. And this is now the third or fourth ship that I've done repairs on throughout our, except this one's in the air, so it's a little different, but
And it's magical.
yeah.
So, you dangle over the side of the vessel, creating a ladder-like stretch of ropes that just continually go down the edge of the ship until you get underneath the ship itself, and you manage to, like, hold onto it with your body as you're looking at the Brunestone, because you're dangling upside down, holding onto a rope ladder that was handcrafted and not even fixated to the ship, you're going to have to memorize it and then write it down when you get back on ship instead of imprint.
Right, I get you.
Design it. So I need you to roll me a history
Okay.
check to see how well you will remember this. Over the next several hours, you come back up onto the ship, sit down with one of your parchments, and start transcribing exactly what it is you're attempting to read. The runic markings on this broomstone, now that they're activated and you're looking upon them, are far more complex and above the magical capabilities that you would have. This is something that magically you would need years of practice to develop or recreate.
Okay, I assumed.
Luckily, you are aware of broomstones. You are aware you can possibly find some. And if they have similar magics with it, you should be able to much more easily just learn how to reactivate that magic. But you transcribe what a broomstone's etchings, arcane glyphings, and all of that is. As you're done with that, the captain just shakes his head looking at you all.
Hey, at least I'm not skyfishing.
I mean, you almost were with him, but whatever.
Hey, he's got fly.
I appreciate the concern, Captain, but I would have been fine.
So, is there anything else you all wish to do?
Is the portable hole finished?
Yeah, we finished that before the fight. It's the amulet for Braska that y'all were going to work on during the travel. Because that's the only one that we can get done in the time frame.
Yeah.
And that's not that long of a journey. So, where's my marker?
I don't know.
Where'd my marker go?
No fishing.
You guys have a
Braska.
handout for the marker?
Mm-mm.
I don't think so. I don't think
We
we've
were
ever
at
used a
wherever
marker in
the
this one.
scar is. And you said it was going to be another, I think it was like a week or so. Let me pull up my sheet.
Yeah, I know where you are. I just want a marker to make life easier on all of us.
I know Friday's got the marker.
Every game should have a marker.
I don't think we ever had one in this game.
Yeah.
Nope, that's a lie. We were using it plenty in the other, when you were in Islecross. So let me create it, not a handout. Neat. Add character.
If we're traveling, can they work on two different objects? Like spend 8 hours on one, 8 hours on another?
16-hour workdays if you want to exhaust them.
The other two are going to take long enough. They're going to require more, like, continual downtime for a while.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Maybe we get a day or so on it. Start working on it.
All right. There's now a new handout for you all called Map Marker.
Okay.
You can use it yourself, and I can use it as well. All of you should have access to it.
So the rift is where the marker is right now?
Right now, right there.
I'm going to put a...
And it took you all about 2 weeks to journey this far. A little bit more than that because you were working on the thing the entire time. So you're looking at about 1 week to get to Uncorel.
Yeah, I'm just kind of... There's the scar.
Which the amulet takes a week to make.
Yep.
Be perfect.
So that's the mountain with a hole in it now,
Yep.
and a
Yep.
dead deer. Just one dead deer. It's the only dead deer on the entire mountain.
All the other deers are alive. You can't disprove
Yes.
this.
It's the only deer to ever die is the one killed by that flying air elemental.
What venison?
It disturbed the natural order.
So, as you all are traveling out there, the captain on the ship is going to be looking across the horizon. So, we're going to be arriving there in about a day. Have any of y'all ever been to Ankarel?
Nope.
It's a century, right?
Millennium.
Millennium. A millennia ago. It's been a while.
Say so, yeah. Yeah.
What's it like?
Never been there.
Oh,
Yep. I just got the directions.
have you heard any tales of it?
I mean, there's a few things I've heard about.
Like what?
Oh,
Break into song. Sorry.
they call it the Jewel of Hope or the Jewel of Marquette. Apparently, it's the epicenter of culture, history, and, well, where the majority of the power of this continent comes from.
Yeah.
Dead center here in the Rumadan Desert. Apparently, a whole lot of different cultures and communities came together to turn this place into their home long ago. A place to remove themselves from the tyrannical rule of dragons that plagued the land, that were enslaving people and forcing them under law.
Then we had a shogun who did the same thing.
Hey, Captain. Captain, have you ever heard of sands so hot that you can forge metal in them?
I mean, I know it's hot out here, but it ain't that hot.
Like sands that are above a volcano or something like that?
So we're buried out here. There's plenty of volcanoes or other things, right?
Yeah, I guess. I just wonder.
It's more like a smelting pot, but yeah. Hopefully, once we get there, we'll be able to meet with one of the holy men of the town and get some guidance there.
Does he have a map that he's been looking at and using?
Yes, he has his own map that he uses to navigate, and
Would you mind if I took a look at it? I won't touch it. I just want to look at it.
yeah, go for it.
So when I look at it, I'd like to take out a piece of parchment and sketch a rough example of Marquette. And then I'm going to ask him if he were to guess whereabout we were attacked by the dragon on this map.
I'll show you on this map here.
Okay.
Oh, where you were attacked by the dragon? Around here.
Okay. I will mark it. I'll mark a little X there for myself and then roll up my piece of paper and tuck it away safely.
All right. Are you proficient in cartographers?
No, but I'm a pretty good artist, so...
All right. It's not going to be an accurate,
No.
distance scaling map, but it's a landmark featuring
It
map.
looks like a bad pirate treasure map for sure. I'm not worried about that.
But, there's one thing about this town, though. It is, it's lawful in its own way.
What exactly does that mean?
Well, if you catch yourself committing any crimes in this town, this might be one of the only places outside of Amon that has people capable of handling people like you.
Oh.
You get caught stealing from the wrong people, you'll lose a hand. Get caught lying or defaming someone who doesn't deserve it, you lose a tongue. Get caught making a too big or too dangerous a ruckus. They got some scarlet prisons that you really don't want to go over to. At all.
Why do they call it the Scarlet Prison?
Well, everything that goes in there just eventually turns to blood in the sand.
Oh. That's horrible.
Yeah, their form of capitalist punishment. Capital punishment is a bit more extreme than others.
Jeez.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't like the sound of my chances.
Oh, big guy, you're gonna have to keep a good lookout on yourself. The one that you really have to be the most worried about, though, is the ruler or guardian of the city, Jaman Sa'ord.
Jamansa Ord.
I don't know how worried I'm gonna be when I can't even pronounce his name.
Do any of you speak Marquesian? Anybody else?
Nope.
Okay. Jaman Sa'ord translates to the soul of the jeweled city. It is a very highly esteemed sounding title to you, Sinclair. And another thing you would know about it is distinctly androgynous in nature.
He said his title is what now? King of...
There, it's androgynous in nature, they, them. Jaman Sa'ord translates to the soul of the jeweled city. They're the leader of Ank'Harel, and by association, the leader of all of Marquette. Now, nobody's ever seen them leave the city of Ank'Harel, but they are an individual who, even since the era of the Chroma Conclave, has had assassination attempts and assassination attempts and assassination attempts by them, against them. No one's ever been close.
Joey.
Yeah?
From my time, were there any houses of Ord?
Ord is city. Ord is city. That's what it is. So Jaman would be jeweled. Sa'ord would be the city of the jeweled, or the soul of the jeweled city. Is how it just translates.
Okay, so it's a pseudonym. It's not his given,
Their-
their given name
Yes.
or clan name.
It's more of a title.
Yes, it is a title.
Okay. Are they known by any other name, Captain?
No, Jaman Sa'ord is the only title that the leader of this city ever has. I do know they made Vox Machina a little bit afraid of them, though.
How long has Jamansa Ord been in charge of Ank'Harel?
That's the curious thing. Nobody knows.
Oh, I wouldn't mind meeting them. Maybe they're as old as I am. Because when I
You're
came
serious.
here, when I lived here, the shogun existed.
Shogun, I don't know what that word is.
One ruler, many vassals.
So like a king.
I guess in y'all's sense, similar.
Okay. Okay. Well,
Except it seems like, one of the emperors became an archon, which is never a good thing.
all I know is I don't want anything to do with them or their organization or anything like that. I tend to not want to associate with super powerful people because they usually end up being idiots who attract dangers to themselves that just so happen to kill everybody else around them who's an innocent bystander.
Hey,
Yeah, that tracks.
He says the entire time his eyes are just fixated on
no
Braska.
one died when we went sky fishing.
This
The,
time.
the fish did.
This is true. The fish did die.
So, with all of that, be there tomorrow, all right?
Yep.
Everybody?
Uh,
Fast forward one more day? Yes.
what is the name of the person that I defeated I have their soul coin? What's their last name?
That should be in your notes.
I asked you like months ago if you wanted me to create their name or their family name or whatnot.
Yeah. That's always a yes for me.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. you never
create the
responded,
family
so I
and all
didn't
that.
know.
Oh, I apologize. I should have responded to that.
Okay.
We can just make something up. It's fine.
I would ask Argon if I could see the etching that he made in the notes of the brimstone. And then
course.
I will use the feature of the soul coin.
Oh, you're gonna ask your soul coin a question.
Because I'm wanting to free his soul and bring him to his family. So I'm going to make a query to him regarding these markings. Is this brimstone of your tribe or your faction or of mine? Or I guess whose faction did this brimstone belong to originally is the better question.
The soul only knows what it knew in life.
And answers truthfully.
Yes. So what specifically is your question?
Um,
Keep in mind, Ankarel came after you died.
yeah, but the broomstones came around when we were around.
True. Yes.
So
go ahead. What's your question?
Which household did this broomstone belong to?
That broomstone is not from our deserts. Magic is weirder. Not like ours. Seems more brutish.
I will get you to your descendants as soon as I can. Argon.
Yeah.
So, remember how I said I know what these are?
Yes.
So, the ones from our time are how I described them. They were used to make sure that our forts could be used as emergency shelters to get away from things.
Okay.
Someone brute forced this broomstone to existence. It's not from these deserts. It may have come from Islecross. It may have come from somewhere else. Someone made this, though.
Well, I imagine someone made all broomstones of some form or another. But it's interesting to know that it's not the same stuff as here as your people made in the past, which means there's more than one way to make it,
Yeah.
which is good. That means it doesn't have to be 100% specific. That means there's some leeway. That's helpful. And how do you know it's not from this type or from your this place?
So remember how I told you that I was in a fight against someone who had sold their soul to one of the devils that came through the rift?
Yes.
This is his soul coin. When I fell into the river Styx after defeating him, I made a promise that I would bring him back to his people, to his lineage, tell them what he did, so that they can learn from that mistake and to free his soul. He informed me that this is not from our desert and he has to speak truthfully, but he can only provide me information that he knows himself.
Interesting. Didn't you say that he was the one that cast you into the river Styx when you beat him?
Yes.
Then why did you agree to help him and free his soul?
Remember all that time I said I spent in prison in hell?
Yeah.
No one deserves that. He got tricked just like all the other people from the other factions that sought power and didn't realize the consequence.
Well, Sinclair, you may be a better man than me. I'm not sure I would have made the same decision.
Well, I'm not saying he's going to go to heaven or anything.
No.
I'm just saying his soul will be free from this coin and can't be used to be tortured for all eternity now. It'll go wherever damned souls go that aren't damned anymore. Maybe a better level of hell.
So, why do you share it with his family? Would that not bring dishonor to them?
I feel that his family should at least know what happened to him because a lot of souls were lost during those wars, and having that closure could help.
Okay.
I didn't realize how long it's been, but finding his descendants will prove arduous, but hopefully one of the scholars or holy men from our time still linger about in this town. Hopefully information has been passed down properly through religious studies.
What of that coin? Let me rephrase. Can his soul be regained or revived?
Once the coin is destroyed, you can't destroy it. Normally, you have to do one of two things. You either have to drain the life essence out of it, destroying the soul, or free it through query.
When you say free it, does that reinvigorate him?
It will release his soul, and if someone still had his remains, they could theoretically revivify him.
So
But he wouldn't be under the hellish contract anymore.
I would offer this. When we find whom his family is, can we at least have a little quick powwow to determine if the restoration of him is necessary or not? And the only reason I ask is because what if his family is, I don't know, this Jewel of the Desert person? Or Soul of the Jeweled City person? Jamansa or
Jamansa would, yeah.
What if it's that guy? Like, what if he wants to do something with his soul that's not, I don't know, pleasant?
I can't imagine he's going to do anything worse than trapping him in a coin for 2,000 years.
Yeah, well, yeah, I guess when you put it in that perspective, I guess.
Kind of second the deck against a bad experience there.
Yeah.
I will definitely sit down with you and Argon regarding the religious and magical connotations of this when that time comes, for sure.
Okay.
Just know I made an oath to free the soul, and if his descendants don't want the soul freed, well,
But there's a difference between, I think, freeing it and reusing it.
Well, but I don't think Sinclair's ever mentioned anything about trying to reuse it. Sinclair's
God,
just
no.
trying
Correct.
to free it.
Yeah, no, that's where I'm trying to determine. We're guessing at the use of the family.
Oh.
yes.
Oh,
Something
yep.
the Lady of Ravens told me was one should tread carefully when playing around with souls.
There you go. That's kind of this. That's a much better. That's a way better explanation than kind of what I'm basically trying to say is we should tread carefully and
And that's why you've never seen me try to using it to siphon the life off of it. To me, that would be breaking my oath because it would be stealing his essence away from him.
well and evil. Yeah.
And me and him have already had our bout, and I may have become the victor, but unfortunately, part of his binding into a coin causes a explosion, a fire. So, that's what killed me.
Darn fire
Damn
explosions.
devils.
What could cause a fire explosion?
Fordham just points up at Argon.
You're still mad about the ship, aren't you, Fordrum?
Nope. Not at all.
No, but the captain might be.
Ship's fine.
I was trying to defend it from elementals.
Right. That's why I'm flipping you the bird instead of shoving it up your ass.
No, I protected the ship. We were fine. I got a little singed. I'm working on it. It'll all be, by the time we get there, everybody's going to be fine. The ship will be fine. We'll be fine. Let's be fine. I'm just saying, like, we're in a weird land, and if all of a sudden, after that whole go around with Corvus, or not Corvus, but with Jasper stuck in a body of a guy and a Silas and that all crazy, I just think we want to be careful.
I get you. More caution on dealing with souls than we've done in the past.
Yep, and
And
if I'm
deals.
ever to become one with the flock, I've got to tread that line carefully. I can still ferry people to the afterlife. I just have to do it in the right way.
Yeah, by shoving your sword in their fucking chest, right?
Or, sky fishing. Hey,
No.
one adult
No.
dragon out of
No!
this territory is a good thing.
You're a heavy sleeper. Don't ask me how I know that, but you could free fall to the fucking ground.
I mean, what are the odds that they spear another flock of wormlings? I mean, come on.
I don't know. They may have been flocking this way.
No.
We could try and see.
No, I promised the captain that I would not spearfish.
And for what it's worth, I've just learned that I'm pretty well suited to fighting red dragons.
And I was
Well, I'm happy for you.
completely unprepared for it.
Yeah.
Also, we might want to watch out for more harlequins.
You know what? Nathan, you're right. Roll a D100. You said, what are the odds?
What?
You said, what are the odds that there's going to
Oh.
be another flock of red dragons? Whoever said that, roll
Do
a
it,
Do it,
D100.
do it, do it, do it. I think we all did it on some level.
Go ahead and roll, Braska.
Alrighty.
Yeah. Brassica doesn't get to do much except hit things.
D100, you said?
At least Daddy won't be there.
Oh, 32's high enough. You're
Ah,
fine.
damn it.
Oh, did we want low? Shit, I should have rolled.
He's gonna kick us off the boat if no matter where we're at if we pull another dragon in.
Most of you are heavy fucking sleepers.
Hey, I have kept my promise. I have not skyfished. I have not done anything for the last week except sit here. Opposite side of the boat of Broska. I have been behaving myself.
It hasn't been that much fun, though.
Well, eventually we'll have to make the trek on foot. Back. Maybe then you'll get some fun.
That'll be your guys' problem. Anywho, be arriving there tomorrow.
All right. Have a good night, Captain.
So, yeah.
He's a light sleeper.
Yes, he is.
Don't ask how we do
Works
that.
on a fucking ship. No fishing. Shit.
Does that mean we have a long rest?
Yes. Multiple long rests.
Yeah, I just been like tossing my the tip of my whip into a bucket on the boat and then flicking it back like it's a fishing rod.
As soon as I see that, I'm like in the middle of like redoing harnesses and fixing wood that's thing, and I'm starting to be like, hey, Sinclair, hand me this. Hey, Sinclair, hand me that.
Yep.
While I repair the boat.
Alrighty. So, following day. Early in the morning, you hear a bell ringing from on top of the ship to wake you all up. Just barely an hour or so past dawn. It's a little bit of a, well, slow sunrise on the horizon. But the direction it is opening up for you all creates a beautiful picture for you all to experience. As you look out across the desert, you see this magnificent city. Maybe only slightly larger than the largest metropolis you've all been to thus far, Amman. Just barely larger than that within its walls. The old shaped sandstone paints a story for you of a very old civilization with a strong heritage and an incredible impact on this landscape. Buildings here look older, dated than anyone else other than Sinclair in the party. There's beautiful outlined districts inside of these desert walls that make it very easy to discern where is what interesting feature for the city. You see that there's this magnificent tower with other large pillars around it, each of them with their own giant blue shards reaching towards the sky, these original clear blue crystals. And that largest building just has this huge open archway all around the peak. A wonderful terrace for somebody to just step out of and look across the horizon at. As you are flying around the city, swooping around, you arrive over at this building, a golden building that has 3 docks available to it, one of which has a parked airship, the other one is empty, and the third one is where you all are about to fill. As you descend slowly down there, you feel a gravitational pull of the ship to the loading zone for it. As you are lowered down, you look down from the side of your ship at this incredible city where there's the drawl of attention from many of the denizens walking around, many of which are wearing sandy or black or gray colored robes that cover the majority of their bodies. And then you start noticing the people that clearly have the majority of the money in this city. Individuals adorned in beautiful regal jewels, gold, silvers, platinums, gems all across themselves. Open shirts that just hang very low, showing off a very well-chiseled and an incredibly dark body set for many individuals. Modesty is not something the city seems to admire through and through with many of the denizens that live here. And those individuals seem keenly curious about your vessel. You look past all of them where you see there's these hanging drapes across the entire terrain. These red flags that are perfectly triangular in nature, pointing downwards, waving in the wind, outlining a beautiful market area that is a bazaar. The second bazaar many of you have ever experienced before in your lives. A wide open territory of shopping, of goods, and the perfectly paved road that you look down at is filled to the brim with many individuals that look native to this land, but just as equally, individuals who seem to have visited from afar. Everybody, I welcome you to On Corel.
Thanks, Captain.
When we get closer to docking, I want to see if the other ship has a broomstone insignia on it.
It does have a broomstone.
Is it the same as the one that Argon has on his piece of paper?
Roll me an Arcana check. Yep.
Hey, I actually did well this time.
That's not bad at all. I'd say there are definitely distinctly similar features, but each of the stones, including the two on the bottom of that one and the two on this ship, are all distinctly different somehow. You can't quite place it because you're not, well, versed in Arcana, at least not to that degree, but you can discern enough that there's a difference in the sigils that make them different in origin.
Hey, Argon.
Mm-hmm.
That ship's got different sigils, different runic markings. Similar, just slightly different.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess they're not gonna want me to sit there and study that. So, and I'm really hesitant to piss anybody off after what I've heard about this city, at least at this point.
Well, we can go see if the captain wouldn't possibly be doing voyages from this town often enough, and while we're doing that, you could take a gander.
It's a good idea. I think I've got a way that I could probably look at it later without getting us in a bunch of trouble. So it's a very good thing to point out. And I think I will find use for that later. I've got a good spell, but I don't have it prepared. So, but we'll go take some rudimentary looks at it as we walk past.
Yeah.
There's a large shifting board that stretches up to the edge of your vessel and just hooks onto the side. There's two of the crewmen that come over and start latching this board to everything, hooking it in properly and fixating it to you as you look down, and the ship feels 100% stable and stuck in its current position, and you stretch down about 100 or so feet to this large landing area that has individuals marching around, people haggling and discussing different businesses and shipments that are supposed to be coming in here. And as you are walking down the area, you see that there are 3 individuals, very dark Marquesian skin. One's a half-elf, the other 2 seem to be humans. As you look at them, you see that each of them have large, thick locks of hair tied up in golden bands and sleeveless robes that cover just enough of everything else on them, but uncovers a well-fit individual that clearly has experience with at least needing to stay physically fit. On their sides, they have scimitars and rings upon rings of golden bands stretching across only their right arms. And as you all are walking down, the 3 individuals stand up from on top of crates they were leaning against and walk over to you all with their open-toed shoes and sit there in anticipation for you 4.
As I get down the gangway, I go in old Marquesian. Well met.
I will, in Draconic to Sinclair, I will just say, you speak the language, you're good, take the lead. Just remember, it has been a long time. They are not going to have the exact same traditions that you remember. So be cautious with, hanging heads out to dry and the other things that you've talked about with other people. So just remember, they may not be exactly the way you remember.
And I
You
look back
say-
at Argon and Marquise and I go, yes. Make sure all the goods are offloaded.
Argan, you have no idea what he just said to you.
I spoke to you in Draconic because I know we both speak that, and I don't think anybody else does, or at least not anybody at the party. I don't know about these
The
guys.
half-elven individual chimes in Draconic. So you've been away for some time then.
That I have.
Well then, it is well to meet you. You must be Fordrum, Sinclair, Brosca, and Argan, correct? In Draconic.
That is correct.
Is this a familiar enough tongue for all of you, or is there one that works better for everyone?
Boardroom, what are they saying?
I have no fucking idea.
We're probably better with
I will
common.
speak in common.
Oh, thank God.
if
You
that
sound like
is
you were choking on a
easiest.
phone or something.
Not current. Anyways, it is a pleasure to meet all four of you. Fordrum, Sinclair, Brosca, Argan. We were anticipating your arrival for some time now.
I take it someone from the. Oh, what was the other city called? The first city, the dock city. The one that Marbles is from. I don't have.
Oh, you're talking
I
about
don't-
that little nowhere place?
Well, no, the main shipping town.
Shamal. You mean
Yeah.
Shamal?
I take it someone from Shamal let you know that we were on our way.
We have information that comes here from all over.
Well, I'm Fordrum. Who are you?
The name is Yudali, and these are my associates, Pei and Lotang. We are representatives of the Hand of Ord.
Ah,
Which again translates to the Hand of the City, which would be like
this basically the
it's-
second the what is it called? The hand of the city is basically the person that the king confides in, right?
You have no idea. Would you like to ask him?
Sounds like a tax collector to me.
I was guessing it was more like local watch.
The hand is the hand like the second in command the of the town?
There is no second in command. Jaman Sa'ud is the only ruler of this city. We are just an extension, a hand that handles some business and watches over our city. We've heard rumors of, well, at least a few of your escapades over across the land, particularly around Uthadern
Yes, we've
and
What did
the
you-
rest of Wildmount.
also been to Islacross. Too much snow for
And
me.
you've survived.
Yeah, it was fun.
Good.
So
Allow this to be a formal warning to you all. You all seem to be powerful adventurers. Strong-willed, incredible in capabilities, and I'm sure you're used to being underestimated as well.
I'm just coming home to pay respects.
That is good. Make sure respect in general is something you all have. We do not like adventurers here. Ones that get cocky or out of touch with what we enjoy.
Do you happen to have a pamphlet of the laws here on Harrow?
Pamphlet of the laws. We have textbooks upon textbooks upon textbooks. Do not steal or lose your hand. Do not lie or lose your tongue. Do not manipulate the masses against us or lose your throat. Do not cause undue harm to others or lose your throat.
I do not wish to upset the order here. That is not my prerogative. My only reason for coming home is to meet with one of the elders. Someone from my era or who has been bestowed the knowledge from my era. Do you know of any such individual who is familiar with the old ways?
There are many individuals that know many things here in the city. If you are interested, I, Yudali, can escort you through the city at all times and chaperone you.
That would be greatly appreciated.
Good. Faye, Lotang, you may follow from behind as well. The two of them look at one another, and as they lean backwards, they enter into a shadow between a couple of cracks of buildings, and immediately they disappear from sight. So, you are looking for information on the city. That is good. Very respectable, to say the least. I can recommend that you find yourself over at Sorry, I'm actually looking for it. The Temple of the Mentor. That could be a good location for you to learn many things that the rest of the world does not seem to know or to remember.
Well, that sounds like a decent place to start, Sinclair.
Yes.
And Mr. Lyceum, I believe they would be more than happy to accommodate somebody of your status with just a trade or two. It is one of the more remote locations to the Cobalt Soul Archives.
Hey, Yudali,
Ah,
how do you know of us?
he just said it right there. It's the Cobalt Soul. We worked
No.
with them back in Luthadern. Their information network is vast.
Oh.
Stories of what you have accomplished have spread across the landscape. I do not work for the Cobalt Soul. I am of the Hand of Old.
Huh.
But our Jamansa Ord heard of you and your accomplishments and your inquiry with our city. This is a formality for most respectable adventurers that travel out here.
Well, if we're ever given the opportunity, I would like to thank the jewel of the city.
Soul
For
of
his
the jewel.
Yeah,
Soul
soul
of
of
the
the jewel.
jewel city.
For his hospitality.
Their hospitality.
Oh,
Jaman is no man.
apologies. Their hospitality.
And you see he does get a little ticked off with you when you say that. This culture seems to value proper association of names and pronouns very highly as a sign of respect.
I think
Lose our throat.
I think the temple is an excellent suggestion.
Okay, but what about after?
Well, this is only a start. I can't imagine Sinclair is going to find his answers in the first place we get to, or at least not all of them.
No, there are a few questions that I need answer.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's head there. We'll also need to find a place that we can stay. Is there a place that you'd recommend?
Oh, preferably with drinks.
Preferably with drinks.
I promise you, anywhere that you stay will be more than accommodating to you for something like beverages.
Oh, good.
Awesome.
Now, are you looking for an inn, a tavern, or maybe a casino to stay at while you are here?
Inner Tavern, I think. I've never been to a casino. So.
Yeah. That could be fun.
Oh, what is a casino?
We've already
Yeah,
done
that's
some
right.
gambling for the month. We killed 1,000 teeth.
Yeah, that was a different type of gambling.
We
though.
we
Yeah,
should probably.
That was more of a fix. That was more of a sure thing.
Oh, naked ant.
Not a fix, but a sure thing.
Yeah, it was pretty much a guarantee that that thing was gonna die.
I think a reputable inn is a good start. If we decide we want to visit someplace else for a little more entertainment, we can think about that afterwards.
That sounds perfectly fair to me. Then, if you are looking for just an inn, we have the Kona Cove. It is within the Sunken Bazaar, just over this direction. They gestured down off the side of this massive pyramid-like building that you are standing on, and you recognize the bazaar with all of the flapping red banners out there. He gestures down there, and apparently somewhere within the midst of all of that. Though, if you are looking for a place that has a bit more drink available for you, taverns would probably be up your alley. They also serve food.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, we
openly.
need that too.
I have a couple of friends that would be happy to accept you at their hovel. The debt's respite.
The debt's respect. Well, I'm
That is
sure.
Death. I can go for either.
The debt's respite. Respite.
I'm sure any one that's a friend of yours is a very good suggestion. I'm sure that is a excellent place to start our lodging.
yep.
I would feel most happy with you all staying at such a secure location.
Oh, yes. I would too.
Yes, secure locations are just.
As the individual continues walking, what's everybody's passives in the party? Sinclair 17, Forge Room 17,
18.
Rosca 16.
I'm an 18.
Wait,
No,
what?
mine's 18 now.
You two should update your displays
Yep,
and roll 20,
that's
please.
what I'm working on.
Argon 11.
Yeah, Argon notices the city is beautiful.
How do you update your display?
You go over to the
Yep.
cog at the far right-hand
Got it.
side. Yep, it's right there. Personalization and display.
Yep. Sorry.
You're good. They recently updated it, so it moved around a little bit.
Yeah, passive and my spell save went up.
Yeah, please update those. And AC if that's
Nope.
applicable. So, as you begin walking through the territory, you arrived high up within the Alluvium district over here. And you are heading down towards the Sunken Bazaar down here. Oh, no.
Alluvian's up here.
Yeah. Alluvium up here. You're heading down to the Sunken Bazaar down there. Now, this is a pretty massive map, everybody, so I apologize, but yeah,
It's a big city.
Oh,
it's a monstrous.
His name was Yadal, right?
Yeah,
Yadali.
Yadali, just out of curiosity, just to make sure I don't step anything wrong, are there any outright rules or bans on magic use here?
In our
Yes.
city?
Okay.
No.
I mean,
We
obviously,
would never be so barbaric to disable somebody's own means to protect themselves.
yeah. I mean, obviously, there's things you shouldn't do, like hurt people, steal, that kind of stuff. Obviously, within their own
Yes,
laws.
of course.
I just wanted to make sure there
course.
wasn't a blanket law against using magic before I, stepped wrongly.
There is a frowning to use your magic for ill intentions, of course. For cheating within any of our gambling districts, there's no magic casting of any variety whatsoever.
Makes sense.
Of course. There is a privacy issue with many magic castings. We've had problems with our perverted mages in the past. Do not worry, we collected their eyes and they sit in jars now.
are there any areas in the city that are off limits to travelers?
there are places that you all will not have access to unless you are invited specifically. That would be the Cerulean Palace. He gestures, and you see the magnificent large towers stretching up towards the sky. Which is the very center of the city.
That's that river area? Oh, no, that's...
Well, it's the Cerulean
Okay.
Palace.
How do you get a mage to sit in a jar?
We have just their eyes.
Oh, okay.
They did what you did with the teeth 1,000 teeth. Just with the mage's eyes.
Smashed them? Oh, that. Take them out. Oh, yeah. Okay.
They just ripped them out.
Yep, that tracks.
We have a spoon specifically for it.
Can I see it?
Hopefully you don't have
I'm
to.
assuming he's not carrying it with him, Broska.
Oh.
On the contrary, they reach
Jesus.
behind themselves and flip out a silvered spoon that is serrated on one
Hey,
side.
you never know when you need your tools.
It is much flatter towards the top, but has a very thin area that hooks very quickly. Perfectly designed for...
That is the most badass spoon I've ever seen.
I stand corrected.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he holds it out towards you, Argon, like gesturing up, like where your cheek is about where he can naturally gesture. Because just a half elf here.
Oh, but remember,
Um,
I sit in a chair at all times.
Oh, never mind. He's like, look, you see, we designed it specifically to be able to catch people off guard and within a very simple flip. And he flicks it and it rotates across his palm 3 times before catching it again. Very easy task.
I assumed
Most mages like you are not very reflexive in nature. you know?
that is true. I just assumed it was more of like an official proceeding. You know, they've been convicted. They get sent to a specific place where they remove the eyes. Not that it was done,
Well,
you know, on
No.
point.
Most
Or,
of
you know,
those things are done on site to deter others from committing said crime.
Wait a minute.
he gestures.
So is there a chance that we could be walking around one day and see somebody get their hand cut off?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes, of
that's
course.
disgusting.
That's awesome.
But don't you
There
do
are 2
the
kinds of
whatever you
people.
do for them, don't you do the arm slicing. That is for the guards to do.
First of all, the blade that I have is just for skinning. I use a hammer, so
Crushing is a good solution as well, but it's also, it can lead to permanent nerve damage in them. That's why we just cleanly cut off
Yeah.
the hand. That way you can patch it up much more clearly, and there's less chance of infection, and the doctors can tend to it just
What if
fine.
you?
We're not barbarians here.
Well,
Hey,
hey,
they got to live through their mistake.
Of course, or else how will you learn?
Exactly.
what if you accidentally cut off someone's hand? It happens a lot more often than you think.
Pray tell an instance where you have accidentally cut off somebody's hand.
Okay, so I was very young at the time,
Yes, of course.
but there was this one guy. We were in the tavern, drunk. Drunk as what do they call him? Stinky animal, whatever. Point is, we were very drunk.
A pig. As drunk as a pig.
Yes, that one, I think. Yeah. Anyway, so we were talking about swords and axes and all that shit, just because what else do you talk about, right? Traveling mercenaries like us, Anyways, eventually we get to showing them off, and this one guy comes in with this big motherfucking axe that's like fucking 3 feet across, probably. I tell him, there's no way you could use that thing. He tried, and then the guy behind him didn't see it coming.
Huh. Well, if it was just an accident, then you would pay a fee.
Fair enough.
Something like that. For trauma, for labor, for practitioners, and, well, paying for a priest to heal it on them, you're looking at about 150 gold. They would give you 7 days to pay it, of course, as well.
Oh, all right, that's reasonable.
And if you fail to be able to pay it, the repayment would come from your hand.
Okay, but I don't think most people would fit with my hand on their stump.
No,
But if they desire it,
they would mount it on a wall.
Oh, yeah, okay. I did it again.
But
I set the shield to humans. That's not an option on the shield.
Doesn't mean I don't ask, just in case.
Yeah.
is elf an option?
Fae is,
Fae is okay.
but elves aren't Fae.
Yeah.
I set the shield to whoever Broska happens to be talking to. Because
Exactly.
So you all seem very lively and energetic, unlike the last group of adventurers that came through here that I had to deal with.
Oh yeah, we've had a nice time here in Marquette.
Good. I'm glad the inhospitable deserts have been hospitable for at least some of you.
Well,
oh
we
yeah,
have
it's been a
flying
blast.
Yeah.
It's a lot better than the cold.
The airships, yes. At this point, you've walked down the side of your massive tower that you were perched on, and as you walk past this little landing area, you notice off in the distance that you are underneath where those blue spires were, and immediately as you take another step down, the temperature rises 30 degrees within an instant. It is the driest, most heat-baking, disgusting heat any of you have experienced before in your lives, other than, of course, Sinclair.
Oh God!
The warm, brisk
Within a
air
mist
of
it-
home.
What just happened?
Rosca, your hair just...
Ah,
What just happened? How come it got so
got a
hot?
comb.
Humidity.
You are beneath the AC spires.
The spires make it hotter?
No, the spires make everything more comfortable within the towers and everything above them. You're heading down to the lower districts, where our spires are not capable of keeping all of this cool.
Can't you make more?
Would you like to fund one?
Mm,
It's only about 100,000 gold each, and we need about 16 or so more of them to fund the entire city to keep at least 2 more districts.
Okay,
Cool.
so that's more than I got. Yeah, no.
It's a lot.
what are they made of?
A very rare stone that I do not know.
Oh.
I am not a arcanist. I am a slayer of arcanists.
Oh.
Oh, it's always a nice thing to meet a mage slayer.
Well, but
Yes.
Is it though?
Half the party goes, fuck. My only weakness, a melee.
Oh yeah, that's awful for you.
I know, right?
I'm concentrating. No, you're not.
Nope. Actually, it'd be just a straight roll at that point for me. His
All right.
disadvantage and
What
my
were you asking
advantage.
for, Drum?
well, I don't know. Fordrum just gets lost. Like this stone is old. There's things I've never seen before. It's really hot.
Well, maybe
All right.
before we leave here, you'll be able to get an opportunity to check one out.
Oh, I'm not really into the idea of tampering much. I'm sort of. We'll see what we see, and I'll draw some pictures. But
What if one of these could be turned into a heater for like Uthodurn?
we don't want heat in Uthadurn. We got plenty of it. They're called forges. They work for most people. Thank you for bringing up that painful subject again.
Poor Fordro.
Oh.
And I take out my father stone, check its weight, talk to it.
It's a little heavier
I
now.
talk to my rock.
Is he usually that depressed?
Well, he's
That's
on a
since I met him.
spiritual journey. He needs to go to the melting
Decadent.
sands.
Decadent.
He wants to learn how
Talks
they
about her a
craft in
lot.
the sands.
He's having personal things. So
I feel like when he said the naked ant, that was him politely saying, "Shut the fuck
It
up."
is.
Oh, is that what that is?
That
you
is.
you are a very perceptive man, Yadali.
insightful.
Insightful,
But yes,
yes.
that as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's on a journey. He just wants to learn more about crafting. I told him I'd take him to the sand pits.
Wow, you just don't comprehend the subtle shut the fuck up thing, do you? I like this guy. He'll give me anything I want to know.
Yes.
Well, I don't
he
see
will.
there's any reason.
You're going to tell me everything about these people. That is what. Hey, I'm just curious. He throws his arm over your shoulder, Sinclair. If you had to categorize the exact way to counteract them in a battle, how would you do that? I mean, the big one seems very simple. Target his intelligence, right? Like,
Oh no,
easy enough.
no, he's a lot simpler than that. Just be above him in the air.
Ah.
He throws javelins.
Yeah, then I can throw things at you.
But
Yes, yeah, that's good. That's good. Tell me all of your party's weaknesses.
and
he
no,
just keeps
there's-
walking down the street with you
I
in
see
this.
no
van.
issue in talking about the sand crafting. It's a hobby of folks out here.
A hobby, sand crafting? I've never heard of it.
I'm gonna start memorizing silence. Cast it on my staff and carry it around like a bubble.
No, just
I've got it
Never heard of
memorized.
sand
Just,
crafting.
just smack him with a silent stick.
I could set up a contingency for whenever anybody says naked ant, it sets off a silent spell on my staff. I just found the best use for contingency ever. Sure, it's a 6th level spell slot, but you know, some things are worth it.
I always thought he was just weird about
or
family.
the lols. This is very good. And you say he's not terribly strong, right? The wizard? I mean, he's a big guy, but I see he doesn't have many muscle definitions. That's good. That's good to know.
Well, he's got an entire barbarian garb and everything.
Right. But we don't, like, you know, you can dress it up, but it's still going to be a pig.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good.
We did take care of y'all's elemental problem in the desert, though.
Oh, that is good. What? Elemental
No,
problem?
element. No, that's the thing. We happen to run into.
Ordrum
a few
just stands
elementals.
there, staring at Sinclair like, "Go on, you've stepped in the puddle. You're gonna explain
Oh,
it."
we also killed a dragon.
We did.
Yes.
4 of them, technically.
What dragon?
Red,
Big red one.
How big?
adult, daddy.
Who's big?
It's about halfway between here and the harbor
Big kid
town.
bread.
Rosada.
I didn't
You killed
I'm
Rosada.
afraid we didn't
Just-
get.
say its name.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was more
Well,
pissed that I killed his
you're
kid.
talking about an adult red dragon. That was male. In this territory, there's only one. Rosada.
Look.
Does his children look like parrots?
I pull out the
From a
Did I pull
bones.
out one of the
distance.
babies?
I pull out the bones from the
Yeah.
wings. Look, I'm gonna make these into bows.
Ah. While in sight of the city, it is actually illegal to hunt dragons.
All right, we're not killing dragons inside the city.
Just
That's
to
good to know.
Well, I mean, to hunt them. If one attacks you, you are more than welcome, as in all the situations, to defend yourself. Just,
No skyfish.
we don't believe in collateral damage, he says pointedly at Argon.
Oh, don't look there.
So does fishing count as hunting? Because that's kind of how it happened.
Fishing is a form of
Fordham
hunting.
puts his finger on the guy's chin and just sort of turns the head toward the other two. Like, you're looking at the wrong one for collateral damage thing.
I only cause collateral damage when it's forced upon me.
I don't know what that is.
Well,
That's Brosco, when you get into a bar fight
Yeah,
and it's you versus one guy,
we
Then
just
you
so
take out the
far.
waitress.
and you swing a little too hard and you smack the waitress on accident because he ducked.
Yeah.
The waitress was collateral damage.
Oh.
She wasn't part of the fight, but she got hurt on accident
But
because of the fight.
Also, all of the broken furniture and
Yes.
dishes are all collateral damage.
Oh wow, that's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And if
Yeah.
you
I
do
have
that in
done
this
so
town,
much
they'll make you
collateral
pay for
damage
it.
in my life.
Technically, the red dragon was collateral damage to our fishing.
True.
Nope, that's not the right definition.
How far is it to your
It's a
friend's
long walk.
establishment?
It is an hour of walking. If this city is the size that it is, it's many hours of walking.
yes, it is about an hour and a half of walking. But it only takes you about half an hour to make it over to the Sunken Bazaar. The entryway is this large, magnificent archway that has armed guards and soldiers out front. The only armor they seem to be wearing is breastplating and very loose-fit clothing underneath that, and scimitars at their sides. Some of them have large pikes at their sides, and a couple of them have these very weirdly designed shields for them that you haven't seen before. They're thinner at the sides, but still cover just barely past the shoulders, but they sit almost like 3 inches off of the ground if they were to hold it firmly in front of themselves, and goes right above their eye line, but they could lower it to the ground and see directly above it. It's a very strange design that you haven't encountered before.
Do I know what that shield type is?
Yes, this is an adaptation of a Kite Shield. They were used in your era where people were just discovering the use of longbows for their warfare. It is a very efficient way to have multiple soldiers line up against each other and create a wall formation in order to stop infiltrating bows.
Oh, I see. The shields are still around.
Or what is it? It's
It's a phalanx.
a phalanx. Yes, that one. That is it.
Yeah, phalanx wall. It's nice to see the shields survived all this time.
Every now and again, there is a reason, of course, to use them.
Yeah. So,
Looks
in
like a
regards
shovel.
to the red dragon, you called it what again?
Osada.
Asada. Is it a okay thing that he's dead, or
Depends. The only mate that he could have had, she could be a problem. But that's only if she actually cared for him.
Yeah, because that's the problem.
Here's hoping they don't.
It's so hot in this place.
Yeah, it's
Take off your
pretty
furs,
sad. It's
Ford
pretty
Drum.
ass.
we're not in Uthodurn, we're not at high altitude. You can take your furs off.
I imagine the two of them has already stripped down to the bare minimum for decency.
I'm considering going further.
There is a level of modesty here. You have to wear a loincloth that
Yeah,
covers...
you guys seem the type.
We can get you something cool to wear if you need to, Broska.
A loincloth. Yeah, you
Fordham
guys are
looks like
really
his-
conservative.
Fordham now looks like his picture with no shirt on. His beard covers most of his chest. He's got a holy symbol that's around his neck, but all of his armor is pretty much in a bag.
as he's walking through the bazaar, he gestures outwards towards an individual who's closer towards the top front of it, who has this large tray on top of their head as they're walking and moving around the area. And you see an assortment of various fruits just organized in rows at the top of the tray. And as you are walking past, they push at a little lever at one of the sides, and you watch as this fruit falls down into their palm, and it's a green color on the outside of it, and they gesture outwards and speak to you in a form of common that everybody understands. 1 silver. Refreshing.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I want one
Both
too.
of you remove a silver. All right, and they'll hit a different button. They hand you something that's orange instead for drink.
Oh. Is this the same as his?
No, more citrus, more sweet.
Right. All right.
Okay.
Thanks.
They take the silvers and keep.
I'll give him a silver too.
those-
I'll try something.
They'll give you a green one as well. And as you bite into these fruits, the outside of it is fairly hard, but the moment you penetrate through whatever type of skin that is edible in nature, it immediately shoots this burst of juices into your mouth that is almost shocking to you. And oh, that is really, really sweet and very citrusy for the individuals who got those different fruits.
Mm.
It is a drinkable
Yadali,
fruit.
what is this thing?
Those ones? Ah, you got yourself melons.
Well, it's a good melon.
Should be. I would also recommend you get yourself one of those batting fans.
One of those
He
what
gestures
things?
over at a stall where you see there's this standing barrel that has these large paper-esque fans that stand roughly about 3 feet tall in total and bend downwards towards a grass that has a large roping around the center of it that looks very simple for a hand to grip. The batting fans.
What do you do with it?
You fan yourself.
Goes over, gestures at the individual who immediately bows their head to him and takes it out and bats it in front of you, and you feel a whisk of wind. Oh, that felt amazing.
That was nice. Huh.
He looks at him. Don't be afraid to upcharge them. They're adventurers. And puts it back into the barrel.
I just hand them 2 gold, give 1 to Forger and 1 to Broska.
They smack your hand away. 5 gold each.
Nah.
I look over at Yadali and I'm like, so define stealing just how you guys see it in this town?
Pulls out the spoon, flips it in their hand.
No, that was a different thing. You said.
Price gouging is okay.
Yes, of course. It's called haggling. They're better at it than you are. You clearly need it. They gesture at both of you that are just drenched in sweat already.
I'll give you a platinum for 4 of them.
Deal. And they'll shake your hand and give you.
And I will give them a platinum piece.
You
Oh,
just got 4 for 250.
Yeah,
Oh no, they're worth way less than a gold.
Oh, I know.
They're paper fans.
yeah, I know they are. But they told you 5. I got it for half what they told you at least.
Not
No.
bad. Now each of you has your own batting fan that periodically you just over you, and it just shoots the heat off of your body for it to resettle onto you.
I need to go sleep for the night so I can swap spells so I can memorize Unseen Servant. Don't think that's not following me around this town the entire rest of the time we're in this campaign.
He'll have 2 fans
Oh,
for
swamp
you,
chair.
Morgan.
All
Swamp
you need is a
chair.
hand.
Oh, wait a minute. Do I know Mage Hand?
Uh-huh.
I do
You
have
know
Mage
Mage
Hand.
Yep. You all see just magically it's sitting there fanning
This is
Argan
just-
as he's just strolling through the area.
Tomorrow you
You
can
know, this town's kind
yeah,
of nice.
tomorrow you can have Unseen Servant, and then he can have 2 fans on you.
Yeah.
Extra AC.
As as you are moving through the Sunken Bazaar, you look around at all of these wonderful exotic things that they're selling out here. Some of them look to be ravaged from ruins. Other things seem to have been imports from foreign lands. A lot of textiles, a lot of handcrafted goods here. And there's a large emphasis on beauty and creation within this location that Forge Room in particular, you have a strong appreciation for. Their pottering out here is incredible. The linens that they create and hand weave with their own silks is just it's beautiful, and everything has a finesse to it in this location.
Yeah, if anybody's actually manufacturing this stuff at their booth, I'm fucked, because I just stop walking and stare until I'm dragged away, basically.
Alrighty. Roll me a perception check. Let's see what you notice, Fortune. 17 would notice. You walk by one stall in particular where out front there's just these draping, large, beautiful, hanging silks of different varieties that have stitched symbols and all of these beautiful looks to it. And when you look past it, you see this ancient-looking wheel-like contraption that somebody is pedaling through that is slowly creating a weave-like pattern for some type of rug, maybe, that they are constructing. And as you look through over at that, you see it has this intricate system of different wheels and threads being filtered through that as it passes through one location, it shifts into a different color for a different location, and then it comes weaving out specifically how they seem to be intending it. And it's just a beautiful mechanism that you all notice Forge Room is like 100 feet behind you all now, just sitting there staring
You might
at
want
it.
one of the guys to stay with him. He's going to be there for a while.
Oh, one of them have already.
We'll continue on. We'll let Fortune gain knowledge.
Oh, I think we could look at that later. Let's stick together at least until we know where base camp's going to be.
Yeah, I'm just gonna pick up Ford and just
We'll swing.
Forge Room
We'll
Bros.
swing by later.
beautiful.
Comes over and says, you see a human woman gestures her head in your direction, and you see now her eyes are grayed outwards, and she looks just slightly off from where you were and gives a polite smile as she continues doing her job.
Can I see one of Yadala's, either Faye or the other one?
Lotang,
Lotang, are they near me?
roll me a perception check. Let's see if you can see them.
Oh, Jesus.
They're hiding.
No.
No chance.
We should,
But Broska's
as
there.
Broska's carrying me, I'm like, wait, we should give her money. Okay, never mind.
maybe later.
Okay.
Buy a rug to send your mother later.
I'm going to.
I know. I figured.
Yeah, we should probably figure out where the post office is first.
So, continuing to move through this Sunken Bazaar, you start to notice now the bazaar itself is opening up. There's little waterways that people are playing in, bathing in, washing themselves in, and drinking from all at the same time. It seems to be fountains that roar downwards and filter down, and the top two layers is where people take the water, and the bottom one is where people are playing and everything else with it. You're not sure what the plumbing is like in this area, but it looks clear. And as you pass by that, you start to notice that the bazaar is slowly teetering off into more well-constructed buildings instead of just put-up hovels and closed-off stone constructions that people have been working out of and selling out of. It's becoming more fancy in this area, much more long-lasting. People who have paid to have the privilege of shop ownership inside of this location. There's many different shops, and all of them have open windows that rest on large sticks that have pushed the windows open and sit on their sills themselves. And the front of most of the doors seem to be beads that drape all the way to the bottom. And there's magnificent looks across all of these things. And when you look around, you see that there is one building that stands out to you all that Yadala seems to be bringing you all towards. It's a very wide, single-story stoned building that has different flags of different nations and different cultures about it all around the outside. It has about 12 windows in total all around it, but notably, Fordrum, you would pick out that that is a very easily defensible location. Something that if they need to drop those windowsills, you imagine it could be done within an instant to fortify themselves. And they could even repurpose it for attacks or defenses. It's very interesting. And then you see the sign out front, the Depth Respite. Moving over towards this lovely tavern that you all, or inn.
No tavern. It's a tavern.
Tavern. The tavern that you all were trying to find and gain your way into. You walk through the front door where you see that there are numerous individuals walking around wearing the same style of uniform as one another, and they seem to be walking with these fans just waving them around at individuals who tip them to sit at their tables. There's about 6 tables in total in this area, and 4 people seem to be at one of the tables. All of them have a very rough exterior to them, but very clean individuals that just seem to have experienced hardship in their time. You look at one of the other tables that has a single man sitting at it whose feet are kicked up on top of it, and they just have a stack of silver that they take off one, place it down, and the individual continues to fan and keep them cool as drinks are brought over to the table, and they just watch over at all of you as you are entering inside. Over at the bar, there sits a halfling whose head is down against the bar itself and arms splayed up on top of it. And you see there's a very large glass that is almost completely empty. Notably, though, that glass is frosted on the outside of it. Very unique thing. And as you enter in, you see the barkeep themselves seem to be watching as you all walk, and Yadali just looks at them, gives them a nod, and the barkeep immediately reaches underneath the counter, pulls out 7 large tankards, and begins filling them all up for you.
When we get inside, I want to look and see which way the doors are barred. Are they
Barred?
well, for instance,
Like where they could be locked?
Yeah. A place like this that's this defensible works in 2 ways. It either works as a defensible location or as a holding cell. So
Roll me a perception check.
just wanted to kind of can't tell, maybe.
There's locks on the inside.
Okay.
You've noticed that?
Well, that's good news.
I walk up to the, I guess it'd be the bartender would be the one that you would get the room keys from, right?
Yeah.
I walk up to him and I go, we would like to get 2 rooms for the week, if possible.
Here is your drink. Moves the tankard in front of you.
Thank you.
Reaches underneath the bar and pulls out a key, places it down. That should cover the 4 of you.
You
Oh.
said that it's a stone building?
Yes.
Is it old stone or is it newer?
Portions of it are older. The vast majority of it is newer. Reconstruct.
Mm.
And how much is the week gonna run us? That way I can go ahead and pay you up front.
I assume you want full accommodations?
Yes.
We'll call it at 15 gold.
All right. I hand him 20.
Appreciate it. Takes it off, puts it into their apron, goes over to the halfling and begins taking the glass, and the halfling's hand just immediately snatches next to it, moves it back over, and then lays back down again.
It's a dedicated drinker.
No, he's just trying to
Respect.
stay cold. That glass is frosted. It must be emanating cold.
Cool. The 4 individuals at the table seem to just like give you a look in the back, and at this point, as you all are looking around, a fairly slow environment for in here. Now you notice the other two guards that have been following you so far. Fei and Lo Tang are over by the door at a standing table, just leaning against it, chit-chatting with one another, just keeping an eye on you all. You're not sure when they slipped in or how they slipped in. It's a very... These guys are good.
Well,
Got the key for our room, guys.
Dolly, are they going to join us?
No, your room is your own privacy, of course.
I meant for drinks here. We're not.
Oh, I'll bring the drinks over to them. It's fine. And takes the 3 tankards and walks over, hands one to each of them as they both nod, and he takes his, cheers to them, and walks back over to the 4 of you.
I'm gonna put the key on like a string and put it around my neck. And put it underneath my kimono.
Will there be any keepsakes while you are here that you need extra careful looking after?
I don't think there's anything that we won't carry on ourselves.
Very well.
To be honest, we don't have much that you don't see.
The few things Argon cares about, Argon won't even let his own mother hold on to. So
I ask Yadal. So you said there's no hunting. What about selling? We have some meat that we would like not to go to waste.
If you would like us to tend to any kills that you have, we have ample experience here doing that.
All right.
Well,
I
we
just
have the
pile
meat
on
of-
some gator meat.
Yeah. We have the meat of a deer that Ruska has, and then we have
Alligator.
Reseda meat as well.
I don't think we harvested any meat from
I
the
don't think
dragon,
we-
did we?
A little bit, but we already ate through it, I think. It would have been that night.
Dragon meat doesn't hold very well.
Okay, I didn't know if we still had any of it.
Yeah, we.
And the other meat you had, it's been 3 weeks.
Well, most of that other meat we gave to Marble's
Mama.
mom. So
Yeah. It's just the deer meat that's only a week old.
Oh yeah, they could. You hand them over a bunch of steaks, and they'll look at it. And will you be sharing with the other guests
I
here?
can gentle repose that. I say yes. As soon as he asks that question, I go, yes.
And the 4 individuals at the table raise their tankards over towards you. They seem to be playing some style of game that involves tiles on a board that have 2 different faces on the little chips that they have on it. It's a game that none of you have ever seen before. Actually, one of you would have seen it. They're playing shoji.
It's the shoji board.
What?
Yep.
What is that? Italy?
Mm,
Over there, those things those guys are playing.
it's a strategy game.
Oh,
Yes. It is a miniature war simulator type of game. A battle of wits, tactic, and deceit between 2 individuals.
Yeah, you know where your armies are, and your opponent does not. And it's like chess in that way, but when 2 armies collide, whoever's got the better
chest.
unit.
So it's like chess plus battleship. Got it.
Yeah.
Oh,
I want to play.
The barkeep just gives a little smirk, and Yadali just kicks back and puts his elbows on the counter now as one of the individuals who heard you say that, this very old, wise elven man, looks over at you and just smiles. Well, you're welcome to join me here at the table.
All right.
I'm walking over and sit down. He begins explaining the rules to you, where you start with these number of different pieces. These are what the faces represent, and you put them face down in order to hide where they would be, but you have to place them in the same similar order as your opponent has on their board. You have specific movements you can make, and you have to strategically collide your pieces with them. If their portion of their army can beat yours, they take over that piece, and then they get to proceed in going. Your goal is to deceive and find out where their king is and take it over without them knowing.
When he comes over to sit with us,
Oh, he's an old man. You got to come.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right. You know, I think I'm a mind reader, because that guy's smile just said, "I'm about to kick some big furry guy's ass."
Wouldn't be the first time for me.
Me either.
Idris.
Good luck.
The old man leans his hand towards you, Braska. Idris.
Braska.
Pleasure. Now, Braska, there are 2 ability checks involved when it comes to playing this
All
game.
right.
The first one is a deception check to see how well you can hide your units. Go ahead and roll.
Glad I'm not playing.
Not bad for you. The next one is an insight check to see where they hid their rolls. Well, I have to roll 2d8 plus 5 for this individual. So you lost on the deception, and you tied on the insight. It is a bout of about 10 minutes of you going back and forth, him reestablishing what the points do and things like that, but inevitably you do eventually lose to this old man, but you didn't do so bad against him, considering it was your first time playing.
I'd like to give it a try.
Please, sit down.
I just want to see what the little tiles look like, and then I lose interest and go sit back with my. What are we drinking?
Oh.
Yep, drinking time.
The tiles that he has, the board itself is made out of a beautiful marble that has been handcrafted and chiseled. The pieces that he has are all made out of a pewter that has been imprinted and chiseled through to create a textured tile across all of them. It's a beautifully crafted set.
Wow. This is a fantastic art piece. All right, you guys enjoy your game.
Sinclair.
Don't bet
Deception.
money, Sinclair.
Insight.
I don't know. Actually, Sinclair's probably going to be decent at this.
Oh, he's really good at one aspect
Yeah.
of it. All right, now the old man's time to actually roll instead of just passively playing you. He has a +8 on his deception.
Okay.
21. And he has a +6 to his insight.
Ooh.
He beat me there too.
14.
Yep.
As you're playing against this individual, this is a game that you weren't particularly good at growing up. Sinclair, you're aware of it, but
Yeah.
you were never the strategist.
I'm the foot soldier.
Whatever.
I'm not the shot caller.
And you realize through the expression of this game that this old man has probably a good 1 or 2 centuries on you
I look at
for experience in this game.
I look at him and I go, my shogun used to clean house doing this all day long. It gave all the men underneath him a sense of his command authority.
Your shogun, you say, huh?
Yes. I'm an old lizard.
Yeah, I would say it's been a long time since somebody around these parts gave notice to an individual's power in a way to confirm them as a shogun. Very impressive title to earn, to say the least. I will say that it's good that younger folks still appreciate the older generation.
You may be my senior in this, but I think I've got some age on you. But I appreciate the gesture.
Age is but a number. All about experience. And he'll flip his last tile, revealing that he had a lotus tile perfectly placed where you were about to attack with your strongest piece that only dies to lotus.
Would you know?
He is an elf, yes. Old
Would
elf.
you know anyone in town that knows of the old ways? I'd like to see a shrine from the olden times.
Well, if you're talking about old heads in town, I'm among the eldest of them. Buy me a drink and ask me what you would like.
Barkeep, bottle.
Very well. The barkeep pulls out a beautiful, large, aged bottle of some type of wine and walks over to the table, pulls out these standing glasses that, as he places them on the table, he runs his finger around the rim and it frosts over all the way down and begins pouring the wine. Then he'll look at you, Sinclair. 20 gold.
I had him 3 platinum.
I love cocky adventurers. Pockets it.
I'm paying for service.
Hey, Sinclair, what about us?
You
I'm
can get
empty.
your own drink.
I turned my mug upside down.
I bought the room. You can get your own drink.
Oh,
Some
And
people, you know.
winos.
The old man sits there and swishes around the wine, sniffs at it a couple of times. Borjum, are you proficient in brewer supplies?
I'm not.
Okay. Argan, roll me a history check. Let's see if you know what this wine is.
Probably not.
You don't know. Yeah, this is a wine you've never experienced before.
Must
So-
be a local vintage.
Must be. What question do you have, young man?
When I last was in this region, the fiendish rift opened. Lots of my kinsmen and those who sold their souls for power lost their lives. I'd like to pay respect to the dead and pray at one of our old shrines if possible. I saw folks flying around in brutish attempts at our old sigils of the Brunestones, and so I know our heritage isn't all lost. It's just scattered with the sands.
Which community was yours?
I'm of House Nightfallen. And I pull out my medallion that shows that I'm of House Nightfallen. And then I pull out the soul coin and I tap it on the table. And he is of House Dawnbringer.
As you reveal the coin, everyone aside from Borjum notices the individuals in this tavern become more alert and on edge around Sinclair. Except for the old man who reaches across and picks the coin off the table, rolls it between his fingers a few times.
I told him that when he fell, I'd return him to his resting place with his lineage.
Your era when the devils came through. You must be talking about the era of the Oni,
I love you.
Yes,
correct?
that is correct.
I heard stories about this from my grandfather. The Oni ravaged a western portion of our sands. Not here in Ankarel. Never made it this far out. Sorry, a southeastern portion of our sands. Closer to the Smolderon Mountains. He seemed to have appeared one day and killed Shogun. Killed anybody in his path. And was offering people incredible power for just becoming one like him. A deceit, a devil, a fiendish mark on everybody who would kneel before him.
Joey.
I'm assuming you perished before the resolution of this battle.
That is correct. I was in one of the wars near the end. I know this much. As both sides were literally at the breaking point.
Unfortunately, the Oni was successful in breaking your tribe. Pulled many of the tribes of this local area together. Made all of them kneel before him. It wasn't until a foreigner came over here who challenged the Oni, caused him to flee. Then the aftermath was a union between all of the tribes. The individuals who were cursed by him were slayed by those that were imprisoned by them, choosing power over honor. Not a good choice.
Indeed. When you lose your honor, that's your whole being. Takes a long time to regain something that's lost. It's been a long path for this one in the coin. And he wishes to atone, but in order to do so, I need to find where a shrine of our people so that I could put him to rest properly.
Well, the people that formed after that were the Lao Crest.
Joey, one quick question. The Oni wore the Harlequin mask, correct? Similar to the one that the air elemental guy wore, right?
So a mask is a mask. That's the similarity, but nowhere near that.
Oh, okay.
Like his was much more ornate, devilish, fiendish in nature to deceive people.
Yeah.
Like it was much more pointed.
I didn't know if they're like the same type of faction where it's different sides of the same coin, just different like sins and whatnot, chaos, deceit.
After that came the... Go ahead. After that came the Lao Ming dynasty. An era of multiple years, decades, where peace was had and the fiendish scars on the land and people was slowly eradicated.
Do any of the shrines from that era still stand anywhere in the sands?
Between peak rises to the south, Smolder Crown Mountain, there's rumors to be portions of that dynasty still alive. I'm sure they have shrines as well. You would have to talk to a expert on exploration. I have not left on Corel in over 100 years. Retired.
I see. Do you know of the sands that were used back in the day to craft blades?
That is unfamiliar to me.
Mm.
I learn of people, mostly. That's where my intrigue comes from. It's easier to speak with individuals when you can understand their heritage and where they come from.
So when did Jaman Sa'od error come about?
Jaman Saud? That is a conversation that would cost far more than just this bottle of wine. It is dangerous to even speak their name in the city.
I just look back at our guard and go, that would have been nice to know.
He shrugs.
And then I look at the old man and I go, and how much would it cost?
He'll look back over at the guards who raise their eyebrow at him. He'll smile at you. There's not a price in the world that would cause me to reveal any informations of our great guardian of this city.
I don't mean any disrespect to them. They've turned the oasis into a beautiful, thriving metropolis here in the deserts. I have great respect and admiration for what they have done here.
There are some things that are private to individuals, and they do not wish shared with others in the world. I will say, of course, though, that there are no secrets more hidden in these sands than are discoverable where the towers end.
Mm.
The old man stands up slowly and pulls out a cane to begin walking out. Drank only one glass of the wine and left the rest of the bottle. I'll be back tomorrow for more games, young men. Feel free, but next time it'll cost you. He just slowly walks out.
Well, Argon, I think I found where we need to head to.
Where's that?
Southeast. There's possibly an old site of the Liaoming dynasty.
Okay.
Southeast in the city or southeast in the desert?
Desert. But we're probably going to want to speak to what did he call it? The Temple of the Mentor, to gather more adequate maps and information on that region before we try to traverse out there.
Probably a good idea.
But hey, it looks like they are, avid buyers of clothes and jewels. So there's a possibility we might be able to sell some of that garb that we've obtained recently here in the city.
You mean the alligator skin?
No, I mean the
The gothic
Gothic.
dress.
dress. and the jewels. Well, that's if you want to, of course.
Oh, I don't have a reason to keep it. It's been a while since I've worn a dress. I don't really see an occasion where I'm going to need a black one for a while. What time of day is it, Joey?
Early. The games of shogi that you've been playing with the individual take you into mid-afternoonish. And are any of you paying any of the staff to fan you while you were here?
Probably.
Okay, it's 1 silver an hour.
I'm just gonna knock off 4 there.
Yadali, how far is the temple of Mentor?
Temple of the Mentor. Let me go back over to your guys' map. I was on it.
Oh.
He's on the prison, man, probably.
Oh, I got maps. We got maps.
This is what the prison looks
like. In the guided district. So Yadali
Oh, God.
will smile when you say that. That is the other side of
Of
town.
course it is.
Over
I'm
here.
just curious, Yadali,
Well, the temple specifically.
Is there any
here.
way to get from one side of the town to the other quickly?
Yes. What's this?
Yeah, I could have thought of that.
I didn't know they.
Or you an elephant?
I don't know what that is.
they don't have like carriages you can hire.
You can hire people to run you, of course.
People, you say?
Yes, you have one fanning you and 4 hauling you.
Yes.
You'll notice probably a lot of them are missing a limb of some sort.
Yes, typically you can commission somebody to run you across town on one of their cuts that they have. You just lean back, relax, and they take off running.
All right, so we'll hit the guided district tomorrow. It's already late afternoon.
Well, it's early
Early
afternoon,
afternoon.
but by the time you
It'll
get
be late
there,
afternoon,
it's nearing
and
the
then
evening.
you've got to make the trek back. So,
Yep.
so
Welcome to a massive city.
So,
y'all.
Yadali,
Mass.
I'm sure Broska's bored to skulls by now, and he will certainly be bored to skulls when we go to the temple of the Mentor. So, what's something we can do to get Broska some entertainment that's not illegal for the night?
Yeah, we're gonna go to hit things legally.
He's not lying either.
That's why we're asking for a legal way for
I'm
Broska to get his
asking.
energy out. Boxing clubs, fighting
are.
pits.
Well, if you are looking for a legal way to hit somebody in this town, you can put in an order to become one of the gladiators, fight in many of the pits. That usually takes about 2 or 3 days of a processing. Or, if it is stress relieving to be hit, you could put yourself into one of the challenges.
Challenges.
Yes. Very simple. You walk into the challenges, they put you into a pit, and the challenge is to stay standing for a period of time. The longer you stay standing, the more you get paid. And people pay in order to beat you with sticks until you kneel.
But no magic.
No magic.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Just
That
stick
sounds
beatings.
perfect for Broska.
So
bad for me.
Okay. My only question is, what will be like the average pay on that? Just because it seems like
Well, for every 10 seconds that you can take your beating before falling unconscious or tapping out, whichever comes first, you walk away with about 5 gold. The longest anybody has ever lasted is 40 seconds.
no, I can beat that in my sleep.
It also depends on the people who pay to beat you.
I can beat that in my sleep.
You may be sleeping after a meeting, but hey.
That's
I
fair.
kind of want to see how long it would take me to whip you down.
Gotta pay first.
True. Faye, would you be interested? And one of the men who's been like sipping their drink looks over and goes, there you go. You have at least one person with
All
you.
right. Where do I do that?
Like to go. Let us move you outside. And they start walking you out of the tavern over into the city streets and moving through now at this point a much more lively area where people seem to be finishing their work for the day and the bazaars are really the only thing still open. He brings you over to this magnificent large sandy pit that you see has a few blood stains in there. Chunks of discolored meat as well. Little concerning. As he wanders over there, you see that there's a goblin who's wearing very regal looking clothing and a headpiece that goes all the way back against their scalp and is powdered for some reason. He walks over to them. Hello. This individual wants to take the shit kicking test.
Hi.
You know you're not allowed to hit things back, right?
Yeah.
You got manacles that can keep him from doing that?
That probably would be
I do,
advised.
yes.
Yes.
I have them, yes.
Yes, definitely put those on because reflexes.
The goblin starts walking around you. Broska, I need you to give me a con save to flex and show off how built you really are.
21?
Not bad. You have a plus 10 to that shit. Yeah, not bad. All right. Think we can work with this. When are you looking to get into your first whooping?
Now.
Whatever. Now works.
Well, it takes a little while to find enough people that'll actually pay to whoop you.
Are you sure? I could just go out in
honestly.
public and make it real easy.
The hand here stated that he wishes to beat the living daylights out of Broska.
I'd wish to attempt one day, but I like fair fights, personally. Faye, on the other hand, Faye just like gives him a look like, really? Faye walks over to the individual. Yes, I will pay. Very good. And how about his friends? Looks at Fordrum, Sinclair, Argan.
I'll share this wine with you. And we can laugh.
Well, I'm wondering if any of you want to beat the shit out of him.
I'm not much of a beater. I think I'll pass. I tried that once. I wasn't very good at it.
Could I use the scabbard?
No,
What?
we have a
you
stick.
have a stick.
You have a specific stick for it.
Let's-
Don't worry, it's a magic stick. It won't break.
No thanks. I'm a pacifist.
Isn't that what we're talking about? Passing a fist?
I get it. You're all right.
If it was me using
Thanks.
my whip,
He'll offer you a
it'd be
fist
one
bump.
thing. Unfortunately,
His hand covers 2 of your knuckles.
fortunately,
I'm
I'm not
surprised it's
good
that
with
much.
any armaments that I'm not familiar with.
That's fine. Not everybody's good with sticks. All right.
But I have a
Yeah,
whip.
we'll see if we can't. Well, no, like we have a stick. This guy over here, hard of healing, right? All right, we'll try to scrounge up some people for you in a few hours. Yeah, let's see. Hey, anybody out there interested in having a beaten night? We got a fine piece of meat to writing up this time.
Oh, you're a fine piece of meat, Broska.
Must be all that deer meat.
You look over at a a blacksmith who's just like wailing away at an item and looks over at you, looks you up and down, raises his hammer. Oh man.
Atta boy.
Then you see this regal-looking woman just sauntering down the street, rotates her head, looks you up and down. I would like a 10.
Does she look like about the same size as Delilah?
Slightly taller,
Slightly taller.
about 3 inches taller.
You can hit me for
So the
free.
dress would work on her, just be a little short.
What?
I'm looking at people that might be willing to buy this thing.
Oh, you're wanting to sell Delilah's clothes. That's not creepy. Hi, buy this dead bitch's clothes.
Don't ask where we got him.
She's a famous dead bitch, though. So, you know.
That's fair. That's a collector.
Would
She's
you
also-
like
Wouldn't
a
be real.
famous
She's also
woman's dress?
hashtag that dead bitch.
That dead bitch.
That questionably dead bitch. I mean, it's been 3 times now. You know, like,
You know,
this
she's gonna just let it happen at some point, right?
Hey, if it was up to me, I'd have thrown her carcass in the volcano too.
The regal woman just kind of scoffs at you when you say that and keeps walking. You see a very rich, sweaty man behind her carrying multiple boxes. Just
She
Alrighty,
already got someone whipped.
if you're lucky, buddy, I'm not getting into that. All right. What about 1 or 2 more? 1 or 2 more?
Sure.
You think you could handle 5 people
Yeah.
beating on you? Really?
I mean, it's no different from normal.
I mean,
He
sure
had
thing.
a gargantuan air elemental beating up on him the other day.
Hey, whatever you're into, buddy.
Got his rocks off.
So, we'll get everybody together, and we are going to see you here in a couple of hours, all right?
All right.
Fordham's
Where's my hand?
Fordham's gonna stay in the inn. It's too depressing to see the forge right there, just sitting empty.
Well, you can go hang out at that one lady's shop.
I'm gonna spin the rock on my table. No, because the lady's not bringing me ale.
Sheesh.
I don't like to.
Two
I don't like
motivations for-
depressed Fordrum.
Well, that's what we're working on.
I know.
Well, during
That's
that
the
couple
arc,
of
dude.
hours that they're doing that, I'm gonna go buy a rug for Mama Brightblade.
Aw, roll me an investigation.
I asked whichever guard's following me as I'm walking through the bazaar, where's that blind woman's shop that was weaving up those rugs that Fordham was like awestruck about?
That would be Yadali walking with all of you at the same time. I can escort you over there. No problem.
That'd be appreciated. I want to get something for Fordham's mom since he's inconsiderate. He's being moody.
Now we're just throwing names.
I don't know that. Yeah, either of those are true. I am going to be on the lookout for any birds that seem to be native to the city.
All right, roll me a nature check.
Yeah, I'm actually not terrible at that. Oh, well, unless you roll a 5. But
I mean, you didn't roll too terribly bad. They have parrots out here, which are maybe not native, but they seem to be bred here. There's a good.
I'm just
number of
looking
them
for
moving
anything
around.
that wouldn't look out of place flying around the city on its own. Okay,
Parrots.
that's all I need to know.
You see quite a few of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
You need something bigger? There's probably vultures.
I don't need anything bigger. I'm gonna turn Otis into something other than an owl, something that won't stick out.
There. There's a new handout that we're going to be keeping track of. Marquette's NPCs, everybody.
Okay.
It's in the handouts area.
Okay.
Right now, I have Jaman Saud and Yadali. If you want me to add anybody else, let me know. So, everybody, who's going with Sinclair? Fordrum said he's going back to the inn.
We have the old guy that I was talking to, the shogi guy. Yelp.
And you never asked him his name.
How rude. I'll stay with Fordrum.
So, Rosker, are you going with Sinclair?
You are.
All right.
That'd hit in badly.
I just don't want to be around when it all goes to pot. So
you walk over towards her stall where you see that the front of it's being packaged up by a younger boy, very dark complexion to him, leathery skin already for his age, and you see many pricks and calluses to his fingers showing a hard work to him. Further past him is a fairly young woman, maybe her mid-20s human, who is currently still working with this manual weaving machine that is producing what appears to be a wonderful sequence of purples, blues, and greens all twisting with one another through the area.
Hello.
The young boy looks over at you. We are sorry, but we are closing.
I was wanting to buy a rug real quick. We just got into town today. My colleague saw the lady working and thought it was beautiful work.
She rotates her ear towards you. You mean the dwarf?
Yes.
Yeah, that guy.
His mother would really like one. He's sad to be away from home. This desert heat doesn't agree with him very well. Would it be possible to buy one of your beautiful rugs, my lady?
This is a gift for his mother.
Yes.
Right?
She's an amazing woman. Great cook. Great cobbler.
She'll reach over towards her side without moving her head and finds a standing stick that the young boy immediately walks over and takes her other arm and helps her to stand up as she starts using the stick, bouncing off different fixtures in the shop, walking towards you all. Well, you cannot just simply buy something that is meant for a home for someone without it being perfect for them. A rug in a home is a warming thing, a soft cushion to the strife of days that people have to experience. It needs to be made for them. Bring me to your dwarf. I'll speak to him. I'll learn about it, and we'll find a good rug for her.
I place my hand just right underneath hers so she can feel where it's at.
She'll place hers and gesture it just above your wrist.
And I lead her.
I would like a perception check from Braska. Sinclair, you are not used to ushering people who are without sight, so you're more focused on making sure everything's out of her way.
Yes.
So Braska, perception check, please. 11. There's a different atmosphere from the people as you're walking down the street for some reason. You can't really picture why, though. So, Fordrum and Argan, you've made it into your room, which is a very large room with 4 separate beds in it. As the two of you have been sitting there for a little while, presumably drinking already. About an hour goes by before you hear the door opening up, and you see Sinclair walking inside, and he's bringing with him that younger human woman, Vraska, not very far behind, and the young man is also walking behind all of them currently with a large basket of textiles
Hey,
with him,
Fordrum.
and what appears to be a standing 8-sided large cylindrical object far taller than him strapped to his back.
Fordrum, I have brought someone to speak with you.
Yep, I moved quickly to grab a chair and set it out for her.
You go over, scooting the chair over, and she'll pat around with it on her stick and sit down slowly, patting your hand twice, Sinclair, signaling she's fine.
Okay.
Please, Dwarf, sit across from me.
I will. My name is Fordrum.
Yes, hello. My name is Claire. It's a pleasure.
It is. Why are you here?
I told her about your mother and the comment you made about how lovely her rugs were and how your mother would appreciate one. And she said that you can't just buy a rug. You have to know the person that the rug is meant for.
Ah. I get it now. Yeah. Ask away.
Well, sit down.
I'm
Give me your hands.
here.
She'll touch your hands, and there's a reflexive recoil from her immediately as she touched your palms. That is... She'll take just your left hand and start patting at it with both of her hands, running her admittedly very soft, but still slightly calloused hands against your incredibly rough
Yeah.
hands.
Yeah.
You have burn scars.
I do.
You're a crafter.
I am.
I can feel that right here. And she runs her finger across the line on your palm. You only get that crease when you have held something for multiple hours without realizing your hand cramped up.
Yeah. It's a hammer for me.
Good craft. I do textiles mostly and cobbling as well.
Mm.
Not a lot of need out here for shoes, though.
I pull off
People like their
Or
sandals.
clothes.
the shoes that Fordrum's mother made, and I use the cleansing stone and tap them. And then
Yeah, immediately she go, "Oh, heightened senses. Sorry."
and then I hand her a shoe after it's been hit with the cleansing stone.
Yeah. Just she'll feel around it.
His mother made this the last time we were in Uthodurn.
Wow. Your mother is strong.
She is. Yep.
And I presume her will is as strong as her might?
Well, yeah, she manages a house for anywhere between 9 and 13 of us, depending on who's in at any given time.
9 and 13. Oh, that has to be unruly.
Yeah.
Quite ship, though.
Oh, of
Very.
course.
A queen of a castle of sorts.
She would probably say a queen of her cave, but castle is appropriate too.
Different cultures, I
Yep.
suppose. Huh. She'll hand the shoe back over to you, Sinclair. What was the first lesson she taught you?
Well, let's see. Washing. Washing's my oldest memory. I did a lot of dishes. I did a lot of hand washing. I did a lot of clothes washing.
Those are tasks. I'm asking for your lesson.
Oh,
You're a wise person, and I have to presume that came from the matriarchy of your home.
yeah. She had a saying that was, everybody knows something that you don't, so respect everyone. And that was probably, for my life, it's been one of the greatest wisdoms I've been extended.
Your friend, when he spoke of her, his voice raised, and there was a stronger pounding in his heart.
It's probably fear.
Respect.
It is.
How about the rest of you? Any of you met his mother?
I have.
Oh. She recoils as you say that. That is a lot of respect and a lot more fear than the other one.
Well, that's because
Yeah.
Mama has a
I
rule
haven't-
in her house. You don't cast magic in Mama's house, or you get the switch.
Good to know.
Well, to be fair, it's a spoon.
It's not about the
Just
switch.
Another
It's
spoon.
not about the switch or the spoon. It's the difference between Fordrum's family and my own.
And for me, it was the fact that she welcomed me in her home after I've been away from my family for a long, long time. And feeling that warmth of belonging. She took care of me when I was shit-faced drunk. Like I was one of her own kids.
That is a good matriarchy,
Had,
to say the least.
had a lot of practice too.
Are you close with these people in the room, Fordrum?
I am now. I've only known them for a few months, but we've fought evils together and creatures and things.
When I asked you to speak of her, your voice shrunk. Your heart sped up, but became shallow.
Yeah,
You were sad.
I am.
Why?
Faith. I am a faithful man, a faithful creator for the All-Father, and something I've done has upset, because when I get too close to the fire, or the forge, where I share my religion, it extinguishes. Fires do not burn unless they're magical around me.
Why would this make you sad when I asked you about your mother?
She'd be really sad and upset to know that.
I hear it in your voice. You don't fully believe that either.
I mean, she'd be understanding, but the last visit we had, I'm a family full of forgers. I had to stay outside.
I think what he's suffering from is shame.
It's confusion. I'm not ashamed of it. I'm confused as to, I don't know how to redeem myself yet, but I'm working on it.
I find it hard to believe that a woman who so easily gains the respect of people with untold experience, phenomenal analysis and skills, and grants them love, would would need fear from her own child.
Well, possibly so, but again, the last time I visited, I wasn't to be let into the house. So,
Did she say that, or
yeah,
did you choose that?
she said that. She said, well, you can't come in if you're going to extinguish the fires. And I understand that. Makes perfect sense. She isn't a coddler. She'll care for her, but I'm a grown man. I have to satisfy and solve my own issues. So, who knows? Maybe her wisdom let me know that, or is telling me that the motivation to get back in the house is probably equally as good as to get my faith straight.
Well, I am no therapist.
Sure.
I cannot provide you with medications. But she's strong. She needs something that can handle a lot of footsteps on it.
Huh.
But at the end of the day, when she looks at it, it will remind her of what she built.
If what you provide is anything that I've seen, I doubt that anyone will ever step on it. I don't even think it will lay on our floor. They're dirt. So I imagine it will hang with pride somewhere in our house.
Well, she gestures and the young apprentice walks over carrying the basket of textiles and places it down. She begins feeling her way through it and pulling out many different soft feeling textures and takes two of them out. She hands the first one over towards you, Wardrum. When you begin touching it, she instructs you, close your eyes. It's a wool. A very soft one. Seems to be a twisted fabric to make it easier to brush through. But as your hand is rolling across it, it almost feels like the way the wool is made is just barely rough enough that your calloused hands can feel the grains as you're moving across it. Something that your hands don't feel like they will rip apart, but there's something deeper than that. It's a material that is kind of soothing to touch. It's a calming gesture, almost like a childhood blanket would be. Surprisingly, very similar to blankets that your community would have when you were growing up. Nice, soft. How was that?
It's nice. It's like the most amazing, comfortable feeling. It feels like a kid's blanket from my town. Sort of. Better, but similar.
You can hold on to that one. And she'll hand another one over to you, Sinclair. And when you look at it and begin running your hands across the little pattern, it's very soft rugging, very short edges to it that can easily be formed and stitched with multiple colors and grooves on it. It looks like it will be absolutely beautiful if she puts as much effort as she does everything else that she had in that shop. It has a calming sensation to it as you touch it, Sinclair, that's almost like a full pattern. Something that by touching it just feels more filled. Very nice. She will appreciate that, correct?
Yes. It's. I don't even think words could describe this adequately enough.
She'll stand up. The young man will pick up the basket and hold his hand out for her. I will begin the work in process. It will be done within a week.
I go to hand her back the thing. Would you like this back?
No, hold on to it. You might need something soft.
Sure.
She goes over towards the door. Walks out.
I lined the Father Stone's little pouch that I made for it with the piece of fabric. Here. Now it's going to become my baby egg.
And as you have your emotional support fabric to run your hands across, I think this is a good place for us to end the session, y'all. Players, thank you all very much for playing. Viewers, thank you for watching. Hope you all had a fantastic time. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.